Hi everybody, welcome to our 5-day mini-series with me, Emma Greenslade, in our group, Cause I'm Adopted. And it is an absolute pleasure to be spending a few days with you to teach you the tips and tricks that I learned when I started connecting with my wounds and with the trauma of, I suppose, the core issues around adoption. And Nancy Verrier talks about them. There's 7 of them. She calls them the 7 core issues in her book, The Primal Wound. Shame, guilt, grief, identity, intimacy, mastery and control. There's another one that I've forgotten. Rejection. How could I possibly forget that? Is that probably my main wound that has caused me the biggest amount of struggle. So what we're going to be doing over the next 5 days is really getting you into a place where you feel safe, most importantly, to start exploring your own wounds and your own trauma related to your adoption. We all know that the stress can cause fight and flight, but there's a new one which I learned when I really started looking into this, and it's called freeze. And I found myself so many times over the years in really traumatic situations, and I would just be frozen. People would be shouting at me, and I'd be just like this, frozen to the spot. But meanwhile, what was going on inside was. So I wonder how many of you have been frozen to the spot. Now, obviously, the other flip side is fighting, which translates to anger. And that anger is a result of fear. So we're really going to start delving into your fears and what triggers them, what triggers your fear, and how you react. And then we're going to start looking at how to react differently, how to start having a conversation with your body, having a conversation with your mind, rather than having your ego, your noisy voice that doesn't talk to us very kindly. How you can start communicating and begin listening to the quiet voice, the one that's actually got all the wisdom. So you'll have to excuse me. I've had a really terrible cold. I was in London last weekend, and somewhere along the line I've picked up this terrible cold, and it always goes to my throat, to larynx. I end up with laryngitis. So I'm really pleased that I've got my voice back, even if I'm a little bunged up. And as I said, I'm Emma Greenslade, and how do I know what's my background? Why should you listen to me? Well, what I learned over the years is I didn't enjoy therapy. I didn't enjoy talking about stuff in the past, and I found that therapists were very challenging, not in a good sense of the word. I've been attacked by therapists. I've been not spoken to very kindly, and I actually didn't find them very helpful, in all honesty. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some great therapists out there, But in my experience, I just haven't found the right one. I did find one very good therapist when I was living in India. She wasn't Indian. She was actually American. She was a Israeli American, and she was very helpful for something that I was going through whilst I was pregnant. But when I started cleaning myself up, I've been a drug and alcohol addict. And when I started cleaning myself up, which was 2010, I started getting in contact with my spiritual gifts. And I realized that actually, the less that I numbed my pain with the drugs and alcohol, the more intuition and quiet voice and it was coming through. And that led me to different spiritual leaders, different courses, different healing modalities, and basically a plethora of different certifications and people that came into my life that inspired me to continue growing spiritually as well as mentally. Till finally, I was helping people in another way, and what happened was I was having a lot of through the lockdown. I had quite a number of a lot of people coming to me that had been adopted, that had been through foster care, and were presenting with a lot of trauma, and that gave me clarity that actually I should be helping people that have gone through this trauma of being separated from their birth parents. So that's a short bit about me. I've been in this field of transforming trauma is what I'm going to call it. Yeah, maybe I'm looking at the date on here, I'm going to say 7 years. So I feel that I am experienced enough to to help you with beginning to connect with your own trauma in the way that I did. So we're going to make massive shifts. We're going to have some big shifts in your energy. We're going to have some shifts in your way that you're thinking, the way that you're talking to yourself, big shifts in your mindset. And you know, my goal for you and for everyone really is to live in a way of happiness, joy, and thriving. I don't know about you, but I spent so many years in survival, and that survival, even in this past decade, I'm not going to go into that today, but I have hit rock bottom a number of times, and I have had a lot of trauma in my life, and so I understand. I get it. I do really get it. Trauma sucks the life out of you. It's exhausting, and you're just literally treading water. That's how it feels. And it only takes sometimes the smallest thing. Perhaps somebody looks at you strangely or oddly, somebody, you know, as you're driving along the road, and you're back underneath the water again. It's hard, and it can be challenging. And so that's why I feel that it's really important to begin connecting with the traumas, what has happened to you. We're not going to go into a full timeline because that isn't what this is about. This is literally getting the things in place that you can then start exploring timelines. You can then start delving a little bit deeper. But if you haven't got these first bits in place, then you're not going to feel safe, and your ego is going to keep holding you back. keep holding you in stuck, for want of a better way, stuck in this lack and scarcity. So so I don't know if any of you have ever seen the map of consciousness. I do talk about it in my lives. You probably can't see this very well. So this is the map of consciousness. It's by a chap called Richard Hawkins, and he talks about these different he calls them levels. And as adoptees, we've been in shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. Look, even anger has a higher vibration than desire, pride, and courage. And I want to get you up to courage. You know, I'd love to get you up to love, which is a vibration of 500. But I know from my own experience that I've been, I've been here in shame, and it's the lowest vibration. It's humiliating. It's miserable, and you feel embarrassed all the time. For me, it was like living in this dark pit. And you might not be there. You might not be as low as a 20 on the vibration scale. But when you're in that vibration of low vibe, we call it, don't we? It means that you haven't got the shine. You're not lit up. You're low mood, low energy. You're maybe not much fun to be around. You're feeling a lot like perhaps a victim. And so we want to start eliminating those low vibes. And so today's task, being day one of beginning to connect with your adopted wounds, is really, really simple. What I want you to do, I invite you to do, is set yourself a really safe space. Now, you could have it in your bedroom. You could have it in a particular room in the house. Maybe you've got a shed that you could go into that is, your sanctuary. So when we've just recently moved, and I'm now very lucky that I have a whole room just for myself. The children don't come in here unless they're invited, and it's a place where I do yoga and meditate, and my office is in here. But I've got all my stuff around me. Now before that, I know that a lot of people aren't as lucky as that. But before we moved here, I had a particular chair in my lounge, in my sitting room. And it's a circular chair. Well, it's a half circle, actually. It's like a little half circle chair, and it spins around. It's quite big, and it's got these cushions. And that would be my safe space. That would be the place that I would go to meditate. It'd be the place that I would go to connect with myself on a deeper level. Now I felt really safe there because as I say, the cushions came around me, so they cocooned me. I had a blanket on the side. I would schedule time in this special chair for me to go into potentially quite uncomfortable places where I would really begin to dissect my emotions and ask questions to them. Now, You're not going to be doing that today. All you're going to be doing is finding a place where you can feel safe. That's it. I want you to set this place up, perhaps have a candle there. You're going to put a blanket there if that's what you'd like, or something that makes you feel safe. That's something that is special to you. Perhaps you've got some crystals that you can put in this place. Perhaps you want to burn some incense, or what else could you put there? Something that's going to make you feel special. It's going to be a place where your body and your mind know that it's okay. You can leave that space anytime. So that's it. You're going to find this chair in your house. It could be in your bedroom. It could be an area anywhere in your house. It could be outside. Perhaps you're lucky enough to live in the tropics. Perhaps, and you could go outside and find a really safe place where you can be alone. So that's the first one, is find your safe space in the house and set it to be your sanctuary. That's it. And the number 2 is I'd like you to get yourself a journal, get yourself a book and a pen that you're going to leave in your safe space. And if you need to get yourself a candle, one that's, really pertinent to you, something that really vibes you, that you enjoy the smell of, that's going to evoke more safety for your body, because these are all little tricks of getting you to feel safe. And number 4 is you're going to schedule into your diary when you're going to be taking time for yourself, because I know from my own experience that if I don't have it scheduled, then I'll be just like, I'll do that tomorrow. I don't want to do that today. I'm already feeling vulnerable. The kids are whatever. The dinner needs cooking. So you're going to look in your diary every day for a time that is suitable for you to go into this safe space and begin connecting. And tomorrow we'll start learning about the connection, but today you're just going to be setting it up. And so number 5 is you're going to tell people, if you live in a house with others, you're going to tell them, when I'm here in this place, you're not to come and bother me. Maybe you may need to make a sign that you put on the door, do not disturb. I had to train my children to not bother me, right, this is my time, I just need 10-20 minutes for me. And they know to not come near me. It might not be instantaneous, depending on how old your children are, but that's why you need to just preempt it. This is my time, please respect it, and know that when I'm here, it's time for me and I don't want to be disturbed. And also, because you might delve into something that's a little bit spiky, a little bit triggering for you, and you definitely don't want your children interrupting that special time, that particular time for you. So this is all about self-care. And it might seem really simple to you, but often we don't tend to do simple things because we like to make them more difficult and complicated. So what I'd like you to do now, so you've got the 5 steps today. What I'd like you to do is send me a picture of your special place that you're going to have, and pop it in the group or pop it underneath this thread. And I look forward to seeing your special places. Okay, so I'm just going to have a quick look, see if there's any questions. Okay, so there's no questions. Right, I don't want to be spending too much time. I'm sorry, I've probably been rapiding on today, but I'll be back tomorrow, and look forward to seeing you then. All right, lots of love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheerio for now.